Kay, a very, very warm welcome to 10Q Interview. It's a pleasure to have you on today. How are you today?
I'm excellent. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to the conversation, actually.
So am I. I think it's going to be a good one. I think you're an interesting fella, and I will elaborate on that as we sort of go into it a bit more. But let's kick off with question number one.
Sure.
And so there's a few parts to this one, which will make sense, I guess, in a minute. But why daily videos, and how did you get started?
Okay, so the answer is actually twofold. There's two reasons why I went daily, and I'll start at the beginning. The reason why I started videos in the first place was back in, sorry, my earpod's about to fall out. About 3 years ago, a bank that I was banking with saw my videos and said, "We want you to be featured in one of our adverts."
Oh,
And I
really?
was like, "Yeah, okay, absolutely." So guy contacted me, and we had an interview um, via Zoom,
Yeah.
and I recorded myself with the camera on the
Okay.
interview because I just wanted to see how I was on camera. And I'm not worried about cameras or recording myself in any way. I never have been.
Okay.
I've always been kind of okay with the camera. So I recorded that, and it was like an hour and a half, and I edited it into like a 10-minute video. I think it was it was my very first video. And I thought, I could do this. This is easy. Why not do this? Right.
Yeah.
And then over time, next few months, I was making videos once a month, once every 2 months, whenever.
Yeah.
But it took me freaking forever. It just annoyed me. And again, I'm into simplicity even back then. Like, I just want it to be really simple.
What
How
what was
how
what was
could
the
I
what was the timely bit on the editing ideas?
the editing, the ideas, the thing is, when you watch other people do their stuff, you're
Yeah,
like, I want to do that.
yeah,
So you kind of think that's what I should be doing, and it's just wrong. It's just no, do you. Don't do them, do you.
yeah.
So
Other people make it look so easy as well, don't
other
they?
people make it yeah, oh god, I mean, you look at Casey and stuff. I heard you speaking about him in a past podcast.
Yeah,
But I just wanted it to be as simple as possible. And I thought, okay, this is annoying. It's taking too long. I'm
yeah.
doing too much research, kind of, and I don't want to do this anymore. Then I thought, let me do live streams. So I did
Okay.
some live streams, short live streams, not long ones. And I thought, there's something in this,
Yeah.
i.e., press start, press stop. That's it. There's no editing, nothing. And I was like, this is very, very cool. So then I did that for a while, and I thought, okay, one day I came on camera. I was like, I want to make a video. No, I had a spot on my nose, and I was like, I can't get rid of this spot. I'm not good at color grading. This is irritating. Let's do black and white. That's
Oh,
where the
there you
black
go.
and
You've
white
already you've
came
already you've
from.
already ruined one of my later questions.
That's where it came from, actually. So, but the whole point of the dailies, again, I wanted it to be simple and so on. Black and
Yeah,
white helped in a way. The live streaming esque type version, like piece to camera, simple,
yeah,
white wall. If you go back to my old videos, it was literally my office, white wall and stuff. And I made several videos about making it transferable in a sense that when you make videos, can you do it anywhere else? For instance, my videos all look like this.
yeah.
All my videos look like this, and I wanted that as kind of the it turned into the branding effectively. But it with the daily videos, the reason why I do daily is because I find them very easy to do. I actually don't do that much work because we'll get into that later. I
Right.
only work like 3 or 4 hours a day. Um, so I want something to do for
Oh,
my
okay.
business.
I thought you meant it don't take much work from the video perspective, but you meant in general.
In general, I
Okay.
don't do that much work. I enjoy my life more than I do work, and the work that I get is more than enough to sustain me, right?
Yeah.
So, but I want something to do every
Okay.
day, and it also helps other people. I don't get as much engagement on social media. again, I recently made a video this week actually about that. Numbers don't matter. It's more to do with who's contacting you,
Yeah, I
how
saw
much
that.
time you have. So the daily started with, I called it top of mind marketing.
Okay.
So I just make videos. People say, "Oh, I saw your video of last year, 6 months ago. Now I want to hire you." So it's kind of evergreen in a way.
But
So yeah,
you only publish them on your website. Am I right in that? I mean,
yeah,
I hunted around because this really interested me, because typically someone will create the videos you create and then basically chuck them everywhere:
yeah.
LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, like the world's your oyster. But you don't do that.
No, many reasons. One, because I can't stand social media and what they do to people.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
One,
yeah,
mainly, and you've spoken about this in the past as well. You have to go to where your clients are.
yeah,
Clients are not on TikTok. My clients aren't on Instagram. My clients aren't on XYZ. There,
yeah.
there are only three places if you count search. Two places social media, which is for me Twitter. I get more clients from Twitter than I do from LinkedIn, but it should be on LinkedIn for what
Yeah.
I do. But I kind of went all in on Twitter, especially recently. I do use LinkedIn sparsely, but I'm actually only active on three social networks, and one of them I want to get rid of as well, which is Twitter, LinkedIn, and Vero.
Okay.
Um, but again, Vero is more kind of, I'm not a photographer, but oh, this picture looks nice. Let me put it up on Vero.
Is that Vero? Is that doing? So I remember, I think it's Peter McKinnon was pushing it quite heavily.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't want to say it was last year. My memory's terrible, but
It's a couple of years ago.
was it
Yeah,
that long ago?
it was a couple of years ago, I think. It's a great. So my friend is a photographer, my best friend, and
Right.
she does post stuff on there. And I mean, you have to use a bunch of hashtags, which I hate anyway, but
Yeah.
for aesthetic reasons more than anything. But when you use the right hashtags, I mean, she gets tons of people looking at her.
Does she?
She doesn't get work from it because she's not into the work part. She's just into creating photography.
Yeah.
So yeah, Vero is actually a pretty good
Okay.
social network, but it's not a Twitter, it's not a Facebook, it's not an Instagram. It's kind of its own entity, which is nice. And again, I only use it for posting up photos that I think are worthy of it being a photo.
Yeah. Didn't they?
Um,
I mean, you probably know better than me, but didn't they start it as a kind of like going against what Instagram
yeah.
has turned into, as opposed to what it used to be, and what I imagine a lot of people loved, the whole just sharing photos of that family and friends could see.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was another one called Glass. I don't know if you remember Glass.
No.
Glass is actually a great looking app by I think a couple of Dutch guys, funny enough, and it's actually great. But reason I stopped using it is because not because you have to pay for it per se, but you have to pay for it in the sense that for me there was no reason for paying for yet another social network more so than anything else. But it's a great app. But again, that was like an Instagram, come over to us if you like the photos on Instagram. So great app. But the problem is, again, back to simplicity for me, I can't be asked in the sense of I'm not there to say, look at me with all these social networks. I just am not. I'm not that kind of thing. There are some companies and people that need that for their work.
Yeah.
I'm insanely lucky that I don't need to do that.
Do you know what? I've had this conversation with numerous people very often, probably actually. I hate the game that social media makes you play. That you feel like you have to play to that, get that attention, get that. It's just, it bugs me. I hate it.
This is the thing. Like, if you have to shout from the rooftops, me, why do what I do this, you're probably shit. I'm sorry, you just are. You can look at all these fake gurus, the ones that call, okay, the recent one, and I've made videos about this recently. I grew up in London.
Okay.
I'm effectively a Londoner. I moved there when I was 8. I had a stepmother who was English as they come,
Yeah.
hence my accent and so on. And she she was very clever. She was so clever she couldn't get a job to a certain degree. But she was clever, and I learned a hell of a lot from her. And she taught me lots of things. One of the things she taught me was what a ghostwriter was.
Okay.
A ghostwriter is a person who writes books for someone else. That's it. There's nothing else.
Well,
It just isn't.
not if you listen
even.
to LinkedIn.
Don't even.
I saw your post about it the other day, so I'm poking the bear.
Yeah. So these fake ass mothers that I hope I can swear because you see my Friday Fury episodes.
Yeah.
These assholes, they just call themselves whatever they want just to get the clicks. I'm like, if you have to do that, you're not getting any work. You just are not getting any work.
All right,
You're trying to shout to get the work. Also, just on the cravat, because I know you've probably seen it.
Yeah.
If you're on social media for so many hours in the day, when are you actually working?
Well, yeah. Let me play devil's advocate for a second then.
Go for it.
If one doesn't put themselves out on social media to garner that attention, to garner that, try and get clients or whatever, how does one get clients?
I don't disagree with you. I'm not saying that isn't a thing.
Yeah.
The issue becomes for me is what you're shouting, how you're shouting it, the method you're shouting it. That's not that. So I'm on Twitter a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. That's how we met.
Yeah.
And I'm quite a sarcastic motherfucker, to be honest. And so I just tweet what I think is funny because I think it's sarcastic. Now, some people find it funny and interact, and that's how, like, I'm usually the person when you go to a party, I'm in the corner. I used to be the guy in the corner that people came to talk to because they felt sorry for me.
Okay.
But now on social media, I'm the guy not in the corner. I'm actually going out talking to people, right? Actually saying things. And that's how I'm getting followers. So this is actually a very recent thing. So I don't have a massive following. I have like now, as of today, 535 because I checked it this morning. A week and a half ago, I was just above 500. And that 30 odd people have come to me because I've gone out to say, hello, how's it going?
Okay.
Oh, this is silly. This is stupid. So the point is, you can gain followers. It will be slower, but you'll be gaining real followers because numbers mean nothing.
Yeah.
Numbers only mean something to someone who wants to get like a brand deal. So the brand will say, oh, you got 50,000. Okay, let me. But most of the followers aren't doing anything. If you go to their social media, any of their accounts, they're not actually getting that many comments or likes or engagement. Yeah. So it's like, do you really need numbers in your followers? No, I don't play the game. I've never been in the game of any kind ever in my whole life. And it's kind of translated into modern world with the social media stuff. Just not interested in it.
Do you know what I admire from the way you approach social media? And this is something that's really sort of played on my mind of late, is I think that my social media approach over the last few years has been too vanilla. And as a result, nothing's really, there's been a little bit of growth, but nothing really. And it only sort of dawned on me recently, I wasn't really being myself. Like the way I would talk to my friends and to my wife and family and whatever. I'm quite sarcastic. I'm quite blunt. I'm quite, don't suffer fools, cool shit when I see it.
Right.
Yeah, for some reason, and I don't know if it's been a conscious decision, but I've not really gone down that road on social media. And as a result, I think that actually, because you don't really stand for anything and you don't really say your what is really your peace of mind, no one relates to that.
No.
It's just another vanilla bullshit post on LinkedIn, right? And it's something I'm conscious of, and it's something. Well, one of the reasons I wanted to get you on because I see the way you post. And there's a few people I follow who post like you do, and I want to start doing it more. And I am making a conscious effort to try, and it's not an easy thing.
Well, thank you for firstly. Secondly, it wasn't a conscious decision to do anything for me.
Okay.
It was, this is who I am. This is the point. I think the mistake you've made coming from you, you've just said it, is
Yeah.
that you've watered yourself down.
Mm.
And I don't think anyone should censor themselves. I mean, you should, the last tweet I tweeted, there was no way you could put that in a professional setting.
But do you know what? I don't know why I did it. I
I
don't know when I did it either.
I know why I did it, because I did it
Right.
way back. So I had a company called Mac Junkie. It's kind of turned into I've got MacJunkie.com and stuff. So I was the Mac guy.
Yeah.
And back then, when you were a brand, how I saw it, you're a company, you can't say shit, basically. You can't say certain things. So when I pivoted over tech minimalism, I could basically talk to anyone. I could be myself a little more because it's a personal brand, etc.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me just be me. I'm actually, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
This call, I'm in black and white. I talk to everyone like this because that's my brand, right? That's how I see it. So if you are you, like you say, people will love you or hate you. You can't get everyone to like you.
No.
That's how so not everyone likes me, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't like everyone either. You know, you can't please everyone. If you think about it this way. Everyone talks about niching down, niche down, niche down, niche down.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you niche down on social media, i.e., use less platforms, niche down into where your clients are, and also niche down in the way you talk as well. Well, what does that mean? Well, who are you? People want to know who you are, and I've found that out myself in the past few years. It's not something I've known. So if you are you and people see you and resonate with you, they will contact you. I get an email saying you're an idiot. Okay, fine. I won't reply to it or anything. Don't respond to it, nothing. But then in the same batch of emails, I'll get an email saying, I love that video, blah, blah, blah. Which one, who are you going to talk to? So it doesn't matter who the haters are. That's how I see it.
No, I agree. I'm just on that note. So you said about you don't post your videos to LinkedIn. So for anyone who's watching or listening to this and they don't know you, you post a daily video and it's some sort of thought that's on your mind, and we'll come to how you come up with them in a minute. But I guess my curiosity is why you don't. I mean, you've done the hard work of editing it together, and we'll obviously talk about how you do that. You theoretically could post it to LinkedIn and YouTube for no real, 2 clicks, right?
I do post it to LinkedIn for sure.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah. So LinkedIn, Twitter, and my website is where I actually upload.
Oh, right. Okay, fine.
So yes, I do it on LinkedIn for sure. I don't want to use LinkedIn, and I don't use it anywhere near as much as I maybe should, but I don't want to.
Okay.
It's not a platform. I'm going to make a video about this. This was actually going to be tomorrow's video, but for me, back in the day, there was those Apple ads, Mac and PC. There was a Mac person and a PC person.
Yeah.
I'm a Mac person. I'm the Mac junkie. I've been an Apple guy for 30 plus years, right? So I see everything I do as is it a Mac way of doing it or a PC way of doing it?
Yeah.
If it's a PC way of doing it, and PC for me stands for piece of crap, I generally don't use it as much unless I have to.
Yeah.
And that's the same with Twitter and LinkedIn. I have to use LinkedIn, but it's a PC, so I use it if I need to.
Yeah. Okay.
But the Twitter is Mac because it's so easy to use. It's so much easier that you get way more conversations. You don't get fluff. You don't get I like there's so much stuff that's being posted on LinkedIn. You're like, forget it should be on Facebook kind of posts, but just soppy posts which would not work in a normal conversation. So why you even it just boggles my mind. But I do use it professionally and kind of professionally in the sense that I just repost stuff on Twitter. So again, go on the platforms that your clients are. Yes, I've tried Instagram. Yes, I've tried TikTok. Yes, I've tried all this other stuff, but I hate it. It takes way too much time.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy my life and do the work I need to do
Yeah.
than worry about, oh, I got to edit it this way for this, and I got to edit it. No, I can't be bothered. It's easy enough to do, but I just can't be bothered. There's just no point.
I hear you.
No point whatsoever. Do I want 1 million views? Yeah, of course. But do I want it for something that I don't enjoy doing? No, I don't want it. It's just not. It's not going to make me happier.
It's funny you bring up the Mac versus PC thing. A very quick aside before I move on to the next question. But so I gave my wife my old MacBook Air, which was a 2015 model, and it's still going strong to this day. And do you know what? I love that MacBook Air as well. And I could debate the pros of that model versus the new ones. And it's 2015, so it's starting to get to the point where it's not going to be supported on updates and what have you.
Yeah.
And she was talking to me about, I said, well, now's the time to get a new one, right? So we started looking at the new MacBook Airs, the M2 model, MacBook Pros, the rest of it. And she said, and I'm like you, I've been a Mac guy for a long, long time. And she said to me, well, maybe I should just look at a PC. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she said, well, like, she goes, why shouldn't I? And I was like, right, let me stop you there. I don't know. I don't understand. It baffles me to this day how Microsoft is still as strong as it is.
I mean, let's put it this way. What people don't understand, a lot of people don't understand, not you obviously, because you're a techie as well, is the reason why the Mac works is because Apple makes everything.
Yeah.
The reason why people love the PC because it's cheaper. Well, actually, it's not cheaper.
Not even that much cheaper these days.
No.
I had a look the other day.
Yeah, it's not cheaper, but because they're made by, like, you have different drivers, you have different software, you have to edit the software for a specific hardware. The hardware is better. I gotta give them that. The hardware is better, i.e. faster for cheaper. Hear me out.
Okay.
The hardware is cheaper, faster, but when you put everything to it, it's way more expensive than getting a MacBook Pro. You know what I mean? That's my point. So sometimes you can get a cheaper PC and it'll do everything you want it to do. There's a difference here, right?
Yeah.
But to be honest, it probably won't work as well as just going and picking up one box that does everything for you.
Yeah, I did say to her, I was like, look, I said I'd made my Mac decision against PC, like, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 years ago, whatever it was.
Right.
I said, to be honest, to tell you the truth, I don't really know now. Like, but what I do know is I have no problems with my Mac, or both my Mac. I've got two Macs, and I was like, I've got no problem with either of them.
No.
And therefore, I'm happy. Why would I want it? I like her dad. I'm the de facto IT person in the family, so her dad every time he's got a problem brings his laptop. He's got a Windows PC,
right?
And it just like blows. I don't even know how to get it to work.
No, I try to stay. Every time I get hired by a company and say, "Can you help me with this PC?" 9 times out of 10, I say no, unless it's something simple that I know about, because I don't know that much about it. But I mean, sometimes I have to connect the PCs to the servers. Okay, I can do that. You know, very basic stuff. But if it's like, oh, I need a driver for this, okay. If it's not a case of going to the website, downloading and installing it, I'm not going to be able to help you. No. It's just, I just don't know. I don't want to know. I've one of my first jobs, I was thinking about this today actually, was back in the late 80s. I was designing rubber stamps, and the first time I actually touched a Mac was then, and it was I think it was a classic or something. It was an all-in-one thing.
Right.
Had 2 disk drives. One disk was the operating system, and the other one was, I think, like Illustrator 001 beta or something.
Okay.
Right. That's the first time I touched a Mac, and I loved it. And then I was the Mac guy from then. And then I started getting into Macs, buying a Mac.
But they were very different then to what they are these days.
Right? Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, I've touched pretty much every Mac that's ever been made.
Right.
one way or another, whether it's been mine or clients or whatever. Completely different. Remember the pizza boxes? I had an FX, I had a CI, I had a CX, I've had an FX2. I mean, I've had all of them.
Okay.
When there were new bus cards and stuff, because I was into music and music production, set up studios for like Abbey Road, Metropolis in London. I used to do all of that stuff.
Wowzers.
But it was all Mac based.
Fair enough. Let's leave Macs for now.
Yeah.
You said earlier about, so you putting out your daily videos, and you made a comment something along the lines of it being pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
How do you come up with your ideas? What's your process of brainstorming? Like, I know you mentioned Casey earlier, and obviously he was famous for his daily blogs. I know you're not quite at that level of
No,
but still,
different.
I have done daily content before.
Mm.
How easy do you find it to come up with ideas every day?
I've already got like 5 ideas talking to you.
Okay.
The point is the way I've got an Apple Note, and that Apple Note, I'm going to look at it, has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 check marks to do
Okay.
for making that video, and then I've got placeholders like date, description, and title.
Okay.
I work with titles. I don't work with scripts.
Okay.
I get a title. I get an idea. Like, oh, so today's video was, oh God, I was a little naive. And there was a reason why I wrote that.
Okay.
And the reason, someone can watch your video and know about it. So I always come up with titles. And I use Things 3 for my to-do list.
Okay.
And every time I'm walking my dog, sitting in the shower, sitting on the toilet, whatever, I come up with an idea as a title because I've seen something, or I've heard something, or I'm listening to a podcast, or I'm watching YouTube, or whatever it is. Something will spark a title, an idea. And then that title becomes me talking for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it is. That is literally it. There is no... I don't write any bullet points. I don't write a script. What I started doing recently, because a lot of people, I should say, like reading rather than writing. So what I started to do, again, in a way, is transcribe everything.
Okay.
And then rewrite it as if I've written it rather than talked it. So I actually edit it. Yeah. And then I make that as a blog post on a completely separate blog. So now I use Hey World. I've been using it for ages. So now on Hey World, I will put that blog post. So then what I do then is send that out to my newsletter. So that I use Hey World as my newsletter for the past 3 days now. Because I was like,
I was going to ask you about this, because in your video the other day, you said about how you were moving from Ghost to Hey World.
Yeah, I love Ghost. I'm still using Ghost, but I just wanted less friction. How can I do it easier? Yeah. And how can I put the transcription somewhere where people can read the thought rather than watch the thought, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So rather than having 2 blog posts on Ghost, which make no sense in a way, I thought, let's move my newsletter, and I hate calling it newsletter, but my email list.
I watched a video not long ago about someone who really didn't like newsletters.
I hate them. So I moved it over to Hey World because it's so much easier to write and edit and send out. So I moved all my people over, and it's working out because people see it as an email and they reply more. So, which is kind of nice as well. So again, the less friction you have with anything, the better. For me anyway, but for anyone, it should be a no-brainer. But I make the video, edit the video, export it as a podcast, export a social version, which has got the thumbnail at the beginning, so I don't have to faff around later. I export the normal version. The normal version goes onto my website. I'm thinking out loud here for you guys.
No, well, so you're answering the next question about systems and processes, which I love, so I don't have to ask it.
Yeah,
so go for it.
So once I've edited it, I create 2 copies, a social version with a thumbnail at the beginning and a normal version, which I upload to my website. The social versions get uploaded to Twitter and LinkedIn and posted natively and better engagement. And I do the transcription, which gives me the SRT, which is the captions.
Yeah.
I put them into Twitter and or everywhere. And then I take the text transcription, put it into Hey World, edit it as if I'm writing it effectively, put a link at the bottom saying go and watch the video if you're into watching it, and then that is my newsletter. And that's a daily thing.
Okay.
Very easy. And you know how long it takes?
That's going to be my next question.
From idea to having it posted, it's like 35 minutes.
Wow. What, for all of that?
Everything.
That's good.
Everything. That's the whole point of. So a lot of people say, "Oh, it takes me hours to edit." I'm like, why? The thing is, you're not a production company.
No, do you know,
you are not. You don't have crew. I don't want crew. I just want to be on my own to do something really simply. I have sometimes edited into a short and then posted that on social media as like a little clip.
Yeah.
I do that now and again if I feel like it, if I think, oh, that would be good, but I don't do it that often. I could post, I mean, if someone wants to do this, you can post that to TikTok or whatever, because it's a little short. I was
having this conversation the other day about editing podcasts.
Yeah.
And they were saying that they like to edit out all the ums and ahs and the delayed pausing. And my argument was that is how people talk. That is the conversation that somebody's having. Yeah. And actually, people expect it to a certain degree. And as long as you're not doing it every second and it's
exactly.
You're thinking for 30 seconds before you answer any question, then it's kind of normal. And people haven't got a problem with it.
I did do that using Descript,
okay.
which you probably know, right? So I use Descript to edit and then do that audiograms or videograms, whatever they're called. And after a while, 2 things. 1, it took so freaking long.
Yeah.
And 2, when I was watching it, I'm like, because I would take that
jumping around.
Right, but I didn't do it for the video. I did it for the podcast because I also take my video and put it as a podcast as well, right? So when went on the podcast, when I was listening to it, obviously no one would know, but you're like, that don't sound like me because there are jumps, right? Kind of in a way.
And the videos that used to drive me crazy. You'd be sitting there and then you'd be like over here, and then you'd be over here, or your arm would move, and it just thought, it looks
silly.
Terrible.
It looks silly. Well, I did a series of podcasts called Conversations, and I should carry on. And they were like an hour and a half long, like this, obviously. And there were no cuts, nothing. It was just 2 people next to each other having a conversation. And it was great. I can talk for hours, so there was never any pauses, luckily. But yeah, simpler the better, really.
Yeah. But it just gives you one less barrier to getting it out every day, right? I'm sure, and I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but like the harder you make something, the easier it is to say, do you know what, I can't be bothered today, or
that's it. Listen, this is my camera thing. It's got my camera in it. It's got my mic in it.
Yeah, I've got the same one.
Yeah, it's great. I'm using it now. I'm using it via a lapel.
Oh, are you? Okay.
The batteries are there, tiny little battery charger. Everything is in here. And I literally have to whip it out and shoot. So it's, tripod, whatever. And also, as you know, I don't know if you do know, I live on the road.
I didn't know that. No.
I'm in the car. So I don't have a fixed address. I'm actually right now at my daughter's place. I came here for a different reason. Then I got a notification. You got a podcast. I'm like, oh, damn, it's today. I knew it was today, but I just didn't think about it. Anyway, but this was going to be me sitting in my car because it's like, well, it's you. Why are you making it into a,
So that's why all your videos are, or not all of them, but very often in the car.
Yeah, some of them are in the car. Some of them I'm in the forest most of the time with my dog,
in nature?
just
Yeah.
chilling. Yeah, that I'm basically on the road. And there's several reasons why I'm on the road. So, but yeah, I'm planning to go to Spain and Portugal, and
Are
I'm
you?
waiting for my car to be done. So
Okay.
it's yeah, I'm building a car and it's taking longer than expected.
Are you? The
So
guy
I'm
the
using
guy
my
whose
other car.
podcast yesterday, he lives in France,
Right.
and he's into car builds, and his YouTube channel was building cars and vans
Oh,
and
right.
all
Nice.
sorts. Yeah. Where's your daughter live? Where are you now?
In Holland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I lived in Amsterdam, got rid of the house, got a storage space to put everything in. Then I went to the car. The car wasn't starting. I was like, okay, no problem. I have to rebuild it. And I was like, well, it's summer now. It's not bad weather, so let me do more. More became to more. And this Saturday, I'm actually going to buy another car
Oh, okay.
for parts to build this. Yeah, we're transferring two into one. Yeah, it's become a bigger job than I wanted, but it'll be done, and I'm looking forward to it. So
Okay. I'm gonna ask you one quick technical question
sure,
about your mics, because I also
yeah,
have the same ones.
yeah.
I have yet to use them in anger. How do you find them? So it's
I love it.
the DJI mics pod. I can't remember what they're called. Something RX
Yeah,
mic or something.
it's DJI mic basically. I love it. It works on the Mac. It works on the phone. It works on my camera. I actually record my audio separate from the camera.
Okay.
So they're little mics. I sometimes have a lapel and sometimes I have it attached depending
Yeah.
on what I'm wearing. They're great for being on the road. The mic that I used, if you go back through my videos, when in my office, I had the USB pod mic, I think it is.
The Rode one.
The Rode, yeah, it was the
Yeah.
small one.
Yeah.
Great mic for like $100. It's an amazing mic, and I didn't bother with the Shure or anything like that because, again, aesthetics. Me, it was more for aesthetics for me, and
Yeah.
it looked like an old school radio mic kind of thing because I hate these mics that do all of this, and I wear black anyway. So this mic, you hardly saw it. It was
Yeah.
there, but you hardly saw it. So yeah.
I mean, I think as well. I mean, I do have a Shure, the cheaper Shure here,
Yeah, I
but
see it. Yeah.
I mean, realistically, I think for 99 people out of 100, you're not going to notice a difference between that SM7B one or whatever that costs 400 odd quid and what you're using, what I'm using. I think it's
It's
good.
not
It's all
needed.
good marketing at the end of the day, isn't it?
They are better. They are better mics for sure. As an
Yeah.
audio guy, I tell, right?
Okay.
As a general populace, you ain't gonna tell,
No.
right? It's just pointless, and no one's gonna tell if you're making shorts or YouTube videos. Forget all of that fluff. You just don't need it. Never use the mic on the camera for sure. Get a
Yeah.
mic, but I started with just the lapel mic connected to my Mac. If you go back to my videos, they weren't great, but being an audio guy, it annoyed me. So I think I've got like 7 mics because I went through them to see which was the best one
Yeah.
for the situation I was in. So I have the DJI mic for being out and about, and then I had that USB mic for being in the studio, and it works perfectly. So yeah, you don't use these either. Don't use your iPod.
No, they sound terrible, don't they?
Mate, seriously.
I mean, Apple are missing a
Monkeys.
trick there, really. I mean, they must be able to put out a decent sounding mic. It's big. It's a big market.
Yeah, they should, but yeah, do they?
Okay.
Anyway,
Let's talk about. You might have kind of already covered it a bit, but the next question is about goals and what you're trying to achieve with your daily videos. Do you think about it a lot? Have you got a goal, or is it just something you're working towards?
The only goal right now is getting my car done. That tells you about goals for me.
Yeah.
I've never been a goal person. Obviously, I have long-term goals. That's a life things. But for work, if we're talking about work, no goals.
Okay.
as I said, my videos are literally top of mind videos. I love making them. I like making them. It doesn't take too long. No skin off my nose doing them. Sometimes I get annoyed. Like a couple of days ago, my eye was going crazy, and I was like, I'm not going to make one. But I made the video about that, you know, kind of thing. So, but there was a tech message in there as well, right? So it doesn't matter what I talk about, it kind of always skews back to IT and tech and what I actually do.
Yeah.
But effectively, I talk about anything. So no real goals, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that kind of align a little bit with what you were saying earlier about, and I had this conversation with someone else not long ago, you enjoy putting out these videos.
Yeah.
And actually, you know, the sort of the guru world that a lot of us live in on social media or see on social media regularly, it's like, oh, you know, you've got to have growth plans, you've got to have revenue targets, subscriber targets. And actually, a lot of people just forget about the fact that they enjoy producing like it's a hobby almost.
For me, it is. I enjoy doing it. I'm into tech, so I love playing with this stuff. I got the tech into such a state where it just works, right?
Yeah.
And I love that. So now that it works, well, press record, do it every day. It's really not too difficult. If I showed you my things to-do list with video ideas, it goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
I've got no shortages of ideas, and every day I come up with new ones.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing it. It really doesn't take long. There's no edits in my videos, by the way.
No.
It's literally top and tail. That's all it is. The only edit that I do is make the audio sound better, just with a level and a compressor, and I color grade.
Filter.
Yeah, it's more filter the black and white. So I put an S curve and then I change. Yeah, but that's it. And it takes 2 seconds.
What are you using to edit?
Final Cut.
Okay.
Final Cut Pro. Yeah, and it's just so easy now. And I don't even have to do much because I copy paste the parameters from the last video and just tweak it a tiny bit because obviously you're outside and it's slightly different. I mean, even now, this black and white, do you know how this black and white is happening?
No.
I'm using OBS.
What's that?
OBS, the live streaming software.
Oh.
So I'm using OBS to capture my mic and my camera. It then does the filter and then goes into Zencaster.
That's interesting. So,
and now I'm actually recording this as well, just in case something happens with Zencaster. I always do it. So then I put the filter so it kind of looks like my videos.
That's really interesting. It's kind of funny actually. So there's a Dutch guy I know who he's also weirdly uses that Rode mic, which I was kind of laughing at when you were talking about it. And he does a lot of videos, but me and him are working on a semi project, and he was talking about OBS, and I'd never heard of it. And when you said that, I was like, oh, OBS, where's that ringing a bell? But I think it's the same thing. I think I will have to have a proper look at that then, I guess.
It's a live streaming software. Like
that's
Ecamm
what
Live.
he wants to do.
Yeah, like Ecamm Live. When I was live streaming, I was using Ecamm Live. I game, not so much now because obviously I'm on the road, but I used to game, and I have a gaming channel which stays away from my professional. They're separate, right?
Is that on Twitch?
No, I stay away from Twitch. I pretty much all the platforms I don't like for various reasons, whether it's a political thing, like over the top political thing. I don't care about left and right. I care about extreme left and right. Yeah. That's what I just don't like. And some platforms are extremes, and I don't want to be part of them. I don't like. I'm very careful with privacy and stuff like that. Hence why I don't use Facebook products, really, TikTok, stuff like that. It's a lot to do with privacy. Not that I put anything up there personally, even though I use things, but I don't use it.
I saw on Twitter the other day someone was talking about WhatsApp and about the permissions you give it on your iPhone.
Right.
And I don't know if it's the latest iOS update or one of them where you can now see, it's like a privacy report, and you can now see what apps are using your mic and your camera and the rest of it.
That's right.
And I turned it on. It's like it's off by default, and I turned it on like 2 weeks ago, and I think it says something like, "Oh, give it 24 hours to sort itself out." So the next day I went in, and WhatsApp had used my mic like, I don't know, 70 times in 24 hours,
That's
and had
crazy.
used my camera
Yeah.
similar sort of amount.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't done any. Like, do you mean I wasn't recording into it? I was thinking this is dodgy AF. I don't like this.
My finger is on the pulse on all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm very careful of what I put on my phone. I don't connect anything to I don't wear tinfoil hats or anything, but I'm very careful of where my data goes. Not only that, I'm careful because my client's data is there. So what app service I use is very important to them, as
Yeah.
it should be, right?
So you don't use WhatsApp then?
I don't use WhatsApp. I don't use Facebook. I don't use Instagram. I don't. Literally this. I don't know if you can tell, but that is my phone. That is it. I don't have anything on it. I don't use TikTok. Don't use Snapchat. My social. This is my social.
Yeah.
That's it. So, no, I don't have it on there.
Dodgy. I'm going to move on to the next question.
Yeah.
The next question is about, I was going to ask you what's the best way to stand out from the crowd when creating. And I feel like you've already given a lot of thoughts around this.
Yeah, I mean, be yourself. I mean, the whole, is it Mark Twain? Be yourself, everyone else is taken. It's so true. It's insane. Like, some people say to me, I want to make videos. Can you help me? Like, yes, of course. And then they say, well, what should I talk about? And you say, well, what are you good at? They say, oh, I like candles, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I don't want to make videos about candles because everyone else is doing it. Well, dumbass, you make candles to do candles. The fact that there's 1,000,000,001 people doing it doesn't matter, because someone might like the way you talk, the way you dress, the way you wear your hair. Yeah. Your headphones might be something that someone likes more than the next person. The background might be. It doesn't matter whether there are other people doing it. Just be yourself. Just do you.
Do you think that's the reason a lot of people don't pull the trigger and actually start?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. I know it as a fact. I used to be on Clubhouse, not anymore, but there was going into rooms people talking about, making video, because I'm into video. Yeah. And they were like, I don't want to make a video because it's already been done. I don't want to make a video because I sound awkward. I don't want to make a video because I'm not good on camera. Well, you were crap at cycling when you were growing up. You still cycled, and now you can cycle, right? So it's just practice. It's just practice.
And you know what, as well, as I think you very quickly become a lot better than you think you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
So last year I did a daily video challenge, very similar to yours actually. I just used to talk about something every day for 30 days. And the reason I did it was because I had this insane fear for putting myself out on camera, on film.
Right.
And I've said this before in the podcast. I started doing it and I forced myself to do it. I was like, right, you're going to do it for 30 days and see where you're at. And actually, it didn't take that long into the 30 days where I was thinking, I'm actually quite enjoying it.
Right.
And you've gone from that fear at one end of the spectrum to enjoying it at the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And you think, bloody hell, I've wasted all these years for this irrational fear in my head.
Yeah, and then you kick yourself and go, why didn't I? If only I knew. If only, But if you're thinking in if onlys, then it's not too late, but just start whatever you want to start. Just do whatever. I mean, that's, if I think about it, that's one. I'm 54. Yeah. So it's like, if I don't go on the road now, I don't think I will in my 60s. Let's just do it. Fuck it. Get rid of the house. Get rid of everything. Get rid of all your possessions. Get rid of everything. Keep your laptop, your phone, your dog, and a few things, and then just go. And that's what I'm doing. And the fact that I can do it because of my work is awesome. But the fact that I can do it now is because it's like, if you just don't do it, you would always be sitting in that old people's home going, what if? 100%.
100%. I couldn't agree more. Have you got a plan where you're going?
No plan. No plan. So I've been already with my current normal car, right? I have a small A-Class Mercedes, and I went there to Spain and Portugal twice.
Okay.
Loved it. Slept in the car, slept on beaches, slept in campsite. Just loved it. Me and my dog. Didn't take too much stuff. And then I was like, I really want to do this for a longer period. Maybe permanent, semi-permanent. Let's do it. So I was thinking, and a year or so later, I was like, okay, let's do it. That's why I did it. So the plan is to go to Spain and Portugal again because I love it there.
Yeah.
And if everything's okay with the car,
what is the car?
It's a Chevy Blazer. It's a really old Chevy Blazer.
Okay.
Old, and so I'm kind of doing it up, and it will be fine. And I can do it myself. I can kind of, fix it myself if anything goes wrong. But you just want to make sure it's okay. And if everything's okay, then probably drive to Greece through Croatia or Italy and stuff like that. So there's no actual plan, but that's the rough plan.
Nice.
Kind of thing with no time limits. I did it before. I even made videos, and the funny thing was, people were watching those videos more.
Yeah, because people want to. It's like a behind the scenes. They want to see. Want to see what you're doing.
So I was asking people, like people were messaging me, like, "Oh, it's great that you're there. I'm actually just around the corner. Next time, tell us, and you can come and visit us." I'm like, "Whoa, if I'd known, I would have." But then I would ask someone, well, why is it that you're watching these videos? I go, because I just want to know where you were. Forget the message, forget the tech, forget anything. So, which is beautiful because it's like they're interested in you. That gave me the idea of people don't necessarily give a shit about the quality, although the quality was kind of the same.
Yeah.
They care about the story, they care about you. And then people buy from you. They don't buy from an entity per se.
I couldn't agree more. The first thing that sort of came to my head then was like, would you consider documenting it, like that aspect as a sort of separate thing?
I've already thought of that, and yes. So I was planning to do it on Ghost, but I'm going to do it on Twitter now because it's it'll be easier actually. So Twitter's come up with the subscribe button.
Yeah.
I've applied. I'm freaking waiting. It's taking forever. It's annoying because there are people who applied after me are getting it. I'm like, guys, what the hell?
What's the
So the subscribe button.
No, sorry, I was going to say, what's the barrier? Like, why? I thought they just let anyone do it, or not.
You have to have 500, which I have.
Yeah.
That's the only barrier, so I don't get it, which is kind of strange. But anyway, so there's a whole thing about 80-20 rule, right? With everything.
Yeah.
There's an 80-20 rule for everything, which is, to be honest, crazy, but it works. So the idea was that you've got public Twitter and then you got subscribed to Twitter, right?
Yeah.
In your account. What my idea was to do the 80-20. So the idea was to do 80% work, 20% personal on the private, on the public.
Okay.
And on the private, do 80% personal and 20% work. So kind of flip it around. So the documentation would be under the subscribe thing, but it would bleed over to the public to tell people that I am doing this.
Yeah.
That was the idea behind it. So I'm not going to do this whole vlog style thing. I don't think.
Okay.
Pretty certain I won't, but I will be posting, documenting some. I mean, I vlog. I mean, vlog. I make videos every day.
Yeah.
So every day there'll be something. I'll be in a different place pretty much every day. So that in itself is documenting it in a way.
No, I think it'd be interesting. I think people, because you're on an adventure ultimately, and you're on an adventure that a lot of people will be a little bit jealous of, I guess, a little bit like think, do you know what? I'm in awe of that. I'd like to do that.
So I haven't said this before online, but the reason why it's taking so long was for various reasons. But one of them is that I'm planning to live stream my gaming from the truck.
Okay.
from while I'm driving. So I'm deciding whether to get Starlink or not. I mean, you can't use it when you move, but when you're stationary.
Yeah.
And then that in itself as a separate entity, my gaming stuff, which again, they don't cross-pollinate between the two, my
Right.
work and my, but that in itself will draw in different type of people as well. Because I used to stream with my team, like, I don't know, 5 to 8 hours a day in the past. And I
Yeah.
loved it. I kind of miss it. So I'm kind of building the truck out to try to do that if I can. The difficulty part
I'm
is
gonna have to. What's it called? A Chevy what?
it's a Blazer,
Chevy Blazer.
and it's so
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh no, hold on. This is a new one, 2023.
No, look.
Oh, one of those. Oh,
I'm
wow.
picking
Okay.
I'm picking up a 76 this weekend.
76. Oh, nice. Nice. I like that.
So yeah, I'm going to see it on Saturday. I'm taking the trailer down, and if it's any good, I'm picking it up. But again, it's in a bit of a state, so I already have one, and my idea is to
Take the best of both.
best of both to create a good one.
Oh, that's nice.
Because the chassis on mine is a bit messed up, and the chassis on this one is actually meant to be a really good one. So
Right.
yeah, that's what I'm doing.
No, I am going to move on only because I'm kind of getting a little bit jealous looking at that, what you're about to do.
Yeah.
When the kids are grown up, maybe talk the wife into it. What's I kind of wanted to ask about analysis and whether you do any on any of your videos. Do you look at what's worked? Do you look at the performance of stuff?
No.
No, I knew you were
I
going to
don't.
say
I
that.
don't look at numbers at all. I really don't. I occasionally look, but I don't have. I have analytics on my website by Fathom. It's not Google. I stay away from Google.
Is that one of the reasons you're not looking at YouTube?
The YouTube thing, because it's a Google, yes, but also because of the way they censor things.
Yeah.
Not that I have anything to censor. I don't talk about. I just don't like their way of business.
No. Okay.
So I don't. It's like it's the same with Twitch. Twitch banned me for saying there's two genders. We're just having a chat in this live stream,
Yeah.
and someone says in the chat, the first thing, never met this person before. Now, can I ask what preferred pronouns you? And I'm like, dude, this isn't that kind of channel. By the way, I feel that there's only two genders, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
After that tiny conversation, it was banned. I was suspended.
That person
I'm
reported
like,
it, presumably.
Obviously, someone's reported it. And I'm like, I couldn't bring it into words, right?
Freedom of speech at its finest.
Forget freedom of speech. It's like, if you don't agree with someone, just like, but before that, I actually wanted to delete my Twitch, right? I asked them, I was partnered. So
Okay.
I said, I want to delete my Twitch. How can I delete? Because I don't want to use your platform anymore for whatever reason. I was using a different platform. And they were like, we'll look into it and we'll get back to you. Took about a year, nothing. And then they suspend me and I can't get into my account to delete it. Because when you're partnered, you have to go through this whole thing.
What does
So
that
they
mean,
just
partnered?
You get special treatment. I don't give a shit. I don't care, to be honest. It means that you're better than ever. I don't care. I don't know. You get a bit of money or something, and I got no money from them anyway. And I don't do it for money. I do it because I'm hanging out with my best buddies online and playing a game.
Yeah.
And they anyway. So I wrote them a really scathing, swearing on the top of my lungs. Just, I want to fucking delete me anyway, you fucking idiots. I don't care if you. So, but they haven't. So they keep it for the numbers, I'm guessing, because they ban a lot of people. They've banned so many people for a lot less, for no reason. And the same happens with YouTube. So yeah, YouTube is great. It's a second search engine, blah blah blah. But like, where are your fucking ethics? That's how I see it. I'm talking to myself, right? Where are your fucking ethics? So I don't use it. if I don't need it, I don't use it. So do I
is there not
need
a risk?
Facebook? No.
Is there not? I don't disagree with anything you just said, because you read stories about all these companies. Like I read one the other day about Stripe, the finance company,
Oh
who are
yeah,
shutting down people and
yeah,
withholding money, and
yeah.
it kind of got me thinking that is there a company that can compete with all these ones in their niches who are
Independent.
independent or a little bit, I don't know, kind of real or
Well, again, I'm not one of these people that to blow smoke up Elon's ass. I'm not,
okay,
because there's a lot of stuff that he does is complete fucking idiot. But he's a geek. He's in my heart as a geek.
right,
And with the recent buyout of Twitter, he's done more in these past 6 months than Twitter did in the past fucking 60 years, whatever, however long they're around, right?
mm,
He's put out so many features, so many great features, and he's almost net positive, almost. He's done a lot, and he is, into free speech. You can just tell, you can see.
yeah,
A lot of people jump on this whole Turkish thing,
yeah, I saw that,
which is like, there's two options. Option A, option B, which one would you take? Which one's better for the company? You're a company after all, right?
yeah,
You're going to and the whole point, every country has its own laws. So when he came out with free speech, as long as it's within the law of your country,
yeah,
right? Whatever it is. If what you're saying is illegal in your country and we've been told to take it down, we'll take it down.
yeah.
I don't think you can get fairer than that.
No, I agree.
You can't. Yeah, unless you're a complete fucking moron that don't understand words. You can't argue with it.
People do love to argue.
People love to argue, and they argue and talk about the stupidest fucking things. It's unbelievable. And
I mean, that's
half
just
the
social
time,
media most of the time, isn't it?
half the time they're 20-year-olds that don't know how to wipe their own fucking ass in the first place.
Mm.
There's a Friday Fury episode for you.
Yeah. Write that
So
one
yeah,
down.
so Elon, buying out Twitter was a fucking great thing, because especially with have you read the Twitter files that have been coming out?
Yeah, yeah,
You can see what's been going on behind doors, them saying, no, we're not doing it, and they're all doing it.
yeah,
So after those Twitter files, you think I'm going to use Facebook or Google or any of these other companies? No, absolutely fucking not. But again, I'm lucky, I'm blessed, whatever you want to say, in the
yeah.
way that I work, that I don't have to use those things, right? So don't get me wrong, if you have to use a tool and you're not doing anything wrong, and if you don't care too much about your ethics, go and use them.
Mm.
But if you've got a spine and you can get away with not using them, then stop using them. It's the same as it's the same as, here's one. You've got two credit cards.
Yep.
One credit card, you've got the same amount of money on both. You phone up one company and you want to get rid of one. You phone up and one customer support is shit, and the other
Yep.
one's okay. Which one are you going to get rid of? It's a no-brainer.
Yep.
Think of that as social media.
Where does, provocative question maybe, where does Apple fit in this spectrum of good and evil?
Well, to be honest, I'm on the fence with that now. I wasn't before. The thing is, there's bad in every company.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what company at all. It really doesn't. It doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter what it is. There's bad in every company. So you've got to choose the lesser of the evils. It's the same as, you marry the person who irritates you the least, right? It's just the way it is. It's the same with companies. Use the companies that irritates you the least. And with the Apple stuff, yeah, I don't like some of their practices, obviously, but there's some things that you have to use. I mean, if you think about it, you've got these activists who are totally against capitalism on their
Yeah.
fucking iPhones.
Mm.
That irritates the hell out of me, as you can tell.
No, me too. I think it's funny. Like they're just
Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So you're using it because you have to. I get it. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But you can't then turn around and say, you know, stop this, stop whatever. So people just, as you said earlier, they love to argue about something that they know absolutely nothing about. There are
or
evils
alternatively, they
everywhere.
think they know more about something because of something they've read.
Yeah, they're read
Yeah.
probably on Facebook
Or the Daily
or
Mail.
Instagram or TikTok or in a Telegram pod somewhere.
Yeah.
So you're going to get evil everywhere. It's just that choose the lesser of the evils, and that if they're obvious evils and you see it, the fact that YouTube bans people for virtually nothing, Twitch banning people, way back when it was Tumblr banning people for certain things, way of talking. I've never been a right winger. I'm not on the right. I was more left, to be honest.
Yeah.
But now I'm in the center because they both have kind of good ideas, but they're both, as I said before, the extremes are shouting the loudest, and that's what gets amplified and seen. But in fact, everyone is around here.
Yeah.
But if we don't say anything, these fuckers will come into power and do their own fuckery. And that's the problem we have.
And then you get forced to one side or the other, don't you? And
Then you get forced.
Yeah.
But again, who was it that said, there's lots of people saying it, lots of famous people saying, you know, I've been left, but the left have moved the goalpost so far, I've been turned into far left or far right or something.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus Christ. It's crazy. I could go on for days for that. With that.
Well, let me ask you that about. Let's get back to sort of the content creation side of things.
Yeah.
Is it? And it sounds like you've got your process and you're, you know, pretty efficiently mapped out. And I'm wondering if there's anything you struggle with or find tough putting out your videos every day.
Only when I'm sick. Only when really. I mean, on a serious note, no. Again, because I've done it for so long. Again, there was
How
a
long
time
have you
where
done it for?
This is what I was going to get into. Actually, good question. I was doing monthly, then bi-monthly, whatever, and then I turned into daily for quite a while, and then I stopped daily because it got to me.
Right.
But it wasn't the fact of creating the videos; it was more to do with my pivot from one kind of business to the other.
Okay.
And then I stopped because I didn't know what to talk about and what to do.
Yeah.
So if I ever pivot, I would have to think long and hard how to do it before I do it. And that's the only worry I have. Would I pivot again? I'm thinking about it. But I've realized that the videos, even though they're tech related, I can still talk about the same kind of thing. So the pivot would be fine. That's more to do with the services more than a complete pivot.
Right.
But the content will basically be the same. It's not.
Do you ever just sort of not feel like it, but do it anyway?
Actually, no.
No?
Really,
Okay.
I don't. No, I enjoy doing it because it doesn't take so long. That's the thing, right? If it took like a couple of hours to do the editing, get the lights right, and no. Then yeah, I can imagine me going, okay, I don't want to do it today. But if it's a case of, oh, the camera's there, let me pick it up and talk, because they're not difficult videos to make for me anyway.
No.
And they're not.
Have you got better over time? Like when you first started doing them?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
definitely got better. The aesthetics got better. The filtering, the grading has got better.
How about just the time frame? Like the 35 minutes is now. What was it?
That's pretty much set.
Okay.
That's pretty much set. Yeah.
Okay.
That's not. That doesn't really change. It's about 35 minutes.
Fair enough. If you could shadow one video creator for the day, who would it be and why?
You know, that was the question that I saw, and I'm like, I don't want to be asked that because, and I tell you why in a moment. but I actually want it in there because there isn't one.
Is it not?
Not really, because, and this sounds so blasé and big-headed of me, but my videos don't really look like anyone else's videos. I want to keep it that way, in a way.
But you know, I don't think that's a terrible point, and I think it's an important point that not a lot of people talk about, because we can get influenced very easily by. And it's come back to what you said earlier about being yourself.
Right.
Whereas you look at Casey, he was mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
How many people have watched Casey do his daily vlog for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden they're wearing the sunglasses and they've got their
Yeah,
camera,
exactly.
and it's like, that's not you. And it works
It's
because
not you.
Casey is Casey, and it works because he's so good at it. But when you're
Exactly.
not that person, it looks a bit.
It looks sus and it looks weird. And
Yeah.
there have been, I you know, I've got to be honest. If you go back into my videos, there were a couple of videos I thought I would try it.
Yeah.
Oh, this would be cool. They're shit. They're crap. They're useless. It's not me, etc. My videos are my videos and they're mine. They're not like anyone else's. That's how I see it. Of course, you've got to get, you know, some people doing black and white, and not many people do it. That makes me stand out in itself, in a way. There are obviously others that are doing it. The other thing is, I'm not a photographer by any stretch at all.
Right.
But I follow photographers, and I studied them to get the aesthetics right.
Okay.
To get the lighting right. This is obviously wrong because I completely messed up the date, and it's not using my camera. To get the aesthetics right, and I will come up with his name because I'll do a quick search. But there's one guy that made a video, and he talked about grading, like how he does black and white photography.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of photographers, even color photographers, that put their screen into black and white, so they frame in black and white, but the actual output is color.
Okay.
And the reason they do that is it's not necessarily the lighting, but it's more to do with the contrast between the things on screen.
Yes.
That was a mind-blowing thing for me. It was like, oh, if black and white, okay, well, I'm doing it in black and white. What's next? Then he made a video about, it wasn't actually a photography video, but he touched on photography, but it was about protecting the highlights in your life.
Okay.
So when it comes to the frame and how you color it, how you color the frame, make sure there's contrast so that you stand out in a way. I do kind of now. This is stupid, but also protect the highlights. So because my camera is always in manual mode, I don't do auto focus. Nothing. There's no auto in it, and I learned that from this guy because once I realized what he said, it made complete sense. And then the reason why I don't use auto is because sometimes it hunts.
Yes.
Especially if I'm outside and there's trees, it will hunt, and I didn't want that. And then I found a very easy way of having it focused because I don't move around so much. And when you do, there's that artistic feel to it. But when you protect the highlights, it means that you expose for the highlights, and you crush the darks, and that gives you that look.
Okay.
So you see the trees and you see everything, but you have to light it in such a way. So sometimes I don't get it right. Many times I don't get it right. But the fact that it's in my head makes me figure it out a little better. So that's why you get that look effectively. So video creators, no. Photographers, maybe. I couldn't name any. I know that one. But I'm going to try to find his name for you.
Do you consume a lot of content? Whatever that might be, audio, video.
Oh yeah, I do. If it's about anything, yeah. So I watch a lot of van lifers because I'm on the road, so it's kind of interesting. I watch a lot of car making stuff. I do watch some vlogs, definitely Casey ones.
do you know you'll like the
So
Ross
yeah,
Jones who went live yesterday. I think you'll like that one.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch
And
it.
if you watch it, you could maybe hook up with him on your trip
Oh, I
down
will.
to Spain.
Cool.
But he was talking about a van lifer. Oh no, name for kick myself.
There's so many of them. It's
Natalie
crazy.
something, I think it was Natalie Flynn.
She's in France, isn't she? Are you talking about the
No,
French
she's
girl?
not. She's in the States. Natalie
Oh, okay.
Lynn, I think her name is. Let me see.
Natalie Lynn. Okay.
Yeah, Natalie Lynn, and she converted. Ross told me about her, and she converted a van, and I'll send you a link to it afterwards, and I'll link to it in
Cool.
the show notes and stuff. But her cinematography is just insane. It's like, and he says it in the podcast. He's like, it could be on Netflix, and you wouldn't question it.
I watched that episode. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. But as soon as you said that, then I realized,
Yeah.
that's the voice of it. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, and
That's crazy.
yeah, she's just. But it's funny because the whole van life thing. I watch a lot of van life videos,
Right.
and me and my wife are talking about whether or not we could convert an old school bus into a camper van.
Do it.
Oh yeah, it's just a time thing, and
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I would love to. I'd love to just do it and vlog the whole thing, because people are really and this comes back to what I was saying earlier about whether you're going to document your trip, because people love that stuff.
They do love it.
Incredible.
They like. I mean, it goes back to the whole Big Brother thing, right? The TV show.
Mm-hmm.
People like to see other people and what they do, how they work, how they live, how they think.
Especially if they're doing something that they themselves are a bit envious of. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. This photographer he's called Sean Tucker.
Sean Tucker.
He's on YouTube.
Sean, is it SEAN?
Yeah, SEAN Tucker.
Okay.
Is a UK guy. That's the guy, and he made a couple of videos about protecting your highlights, and it's a great watch, because if you're into any kind of visuals, it will give you a great idea of how to expose for it. So it's pretty cool.
I will link to him. I'll link to him below, and I'll check his channel out.
Yeah, it's very cool. He makes like one video a month. It's crazy, and they're all always really good. Again, photographer, so it depends if you're into that type of thing. But yeah, van life videos I've been watching quite a lot of. I like it because it's like, oh, you're there, nice. I want to be there.
Inspiration.
A lot of inspiration. What other stuff?
Where's our curiosity? Where's the one place in either Spain or Portugal that you're most looking forward to going to?
Andalusia, down south where the desert is.
Okay.
Yeah, I lived in Amsterdam, right?
Yeah.
So right in the city almost. So there's always people, and I like my space. Yeah. So even now that I'm on the road, I'm hopping between Germany and Holland and finding, places to stay. I have keys to 5 houses, so I can go to a house anytime I want. But I prefer to just sleep in the forest with my dog, and it's just awesome, because there's nothing there other than the birds and the mosquitoes. You can deal with the mosquitoes, and you love the birds. So and then when I come back into town, it's just so noisy for me. I hate it. I really starting to hate it. I started to hate it 3-4 years ago, but now that I've actually done this move, away, it's just annoying. I had to go back to Amsterdam to see a client, to check out my car and stuff. I got over the bridge. I'm like, oh, it's nice to come back to Amsterdam. Within 5 minutes, I just wanted to get out again.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
No, well, not quite to that extreme level, I guess, for me, but just we moved out to the countryside a couple of years ago, or semi-countryside compared to where we were.
Right.
And it's just like, it's almost like that weight off your shoulders a bit.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. Penultimate question for you.
Yeah.
If I or someone came up to you and said, look, I want to start creating daily videos.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
Do it.
Do it.
Just do it. What's stopping you? What's the stopping you? I mean, I know what's stopping you. If you were to ask, like if someone was to ask, and I would tell them, I know what's stopping you.
What
you
is
think it's
stopping most
difficult.
people?
You're complicating it.
Right.
I can give you my Apple Note thing.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do. Obviously, you need to change it for what you want to do, but you don't need Notion, right? You don't need a script. You don't need the blue light behind you. You need a phone.
Yeah.
That's literally all you need. No, I tell a lie. You need a microphone as well.
Okay.
Being an audio guy, someone can look at crappy video, but they could never listen to crappy audio. Never, ever, ever, ever. So get a cheap $50 microphone, connect it to your phone, start recording. Even if you don't want to put it out because you're very aware of you don't like being on camera, I should say.
Yeah.
Just record it for yourself. Don't even watch it again. Don't even post it.
Someone said that to me recently about, and I think it's really good advice. They said the same thing about just start recording yourself.
Just start recording.
Even if you don't put it anywhere, just start recording to try and get that natural feeling.
Just the point is to get comfortable with the technology.
Yeah.
More so than anything else, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, it helps you get in front of the camera, but the fact that you can, plug, record, plug in a microphone, record.
Yeah.
That in itself is a pain in the butt for someone who doesn't want to do it. So get used to that. Just plug, record. Doesn't matter what it is. Record in any way you want. Just get used to, that's all it is. Plug, record, 10, do it 10, 15 times, 20 times. It doesn't matter. Get used to it. Once you got used to it, then you realize, I haven't worried about the camera.
Yeah.
Right? Then you don't even watch the videos if you don't want to, if you feel awkward. Delete them straight after. But plug, record, do it, and then you'll figure out afterwards what you want to talk about.
I really think that is solid advice, and you're the second person to give that very thing, and I've never heard it before in the last week.
Really?
And I think it's so true, because even if you don't want to watch it, it's just getting used to it, the process.
Get used to it.
Because a lot of people will put the camera up and then they'll freeze. They're like, I don't want to know.
Yeah. But what they'll do is get the stuff because they want it to look like someone else. Yeah. That's the worst thing you could do, because you'll get it and then you're useless in front of the camera. Two things that happen. You get annoyed with everything, sell it, or, won't do anything. It just won't do anything and get annoyed. It's like, don't get any of this stuff. Just plug it in, record, and that's it. Just test that, use that, do nothing else. Once you get used to it, then go to the next step, whatever the next step is for you.
Solid advice. I really like that. Okay, last question for you, Kate.
Last one, go for it.
If we spoke again in 12 months' time, and you said to me, Chris, you know what's been a really good year for me? What would have happened? I mean, you kind of covered a lot of this already.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, get my truck on the road, put my live streaming system in, be somewhere else in Europe, either Spain or Greece or something.
Yeah.
Maybe have Starlink so I can get internet, doesn't matter. But basically be on the road and do what I'm doing now. Because, people always... creating goals is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with creating goals. But I think people make too many goals, or make goals that aren't always...
Have you always wanted to do this?
Effective. Yeah. I'm so lucky. I am so lucky.
Well, but you said earlier you're 54 now.
Yeah.
And obviously you've got a daughter whose house you're at. Like, has this been a sort of a dream of yours since being younger?
My dream was always to work for myself. I was in the music industry, in the tech side of things, and then I started making music, made money, got married, moved, blah blah blah. So I've done the whole thing, but the underlying thing was, Originally I always called it lazy. I was lazy. I
Right.
wanted to be lazy. But I think the older I get, the more I realize actually it wasn't laziness. It was more to do with being effective with my time. Like, what could I do to have time for me
Yeah.
and the things around me, obviously, for me, not just working. So that's why I always say work should be incidental to your life and not the other way around. You shouldn't be
Yeah.
working and then having life on the side. For many
Mm.
people, that's not possible because they work 9 to 5. I get it, but you still enjoy your life after that, right?
Yeah.
You switch off and then you go. But for entrepreneurs and coaches, consultants, whatever, who do work on their own, who have small business, I think you should be enjoying your life more than working. It should be the incidental. The work should be incidental. And I'm lucky that it's been like that for quite a few many years.
Mm.
Um, even when I was working for somebody, that job effectively I created.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I was in the music shop. I call it a music shop, but we installed music studios to big studios, big people. I've met loads of famous people. And I used to train them and stuff. And even though I was working, I had a boss and I was getting, it was kind of a 9 to 5. It wasn't really 9 to 5 because sometimes people call me at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, "We've lost an album. Can you come and help us?" Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't really a 9 to 5, but it was something I really loved doing. So that the timing of it was anything I wanted it to be because the boss knew it would be done.
Yeah.
So effectively, I was working on my own, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But even then, I loved what I did. But the most important thing, even then, was to enjoy my life. And I tell you something. I tell you a story. I used to work at ITN in London,
Okay.
Gray's Inn Road, and I was the IT guy, tech guy. Anything with electricity in that building was me, apart from lights.
Right.
So the vision mixers, the servers, the Macs, the PC, everything. I was even the sound guy on morning news many times. And my boss, and I was working nights. So it
Okay.
was like 11 at night till 7 in the morning.
Okay.
And my boss, Marcus, great friend, he said, I worked week on, week off. And I asked him, making so much freaking money. It was insane. So I'm like, can I have another week? And he was like, no, I'd rather hire someone else. I'm like, I don't get it. And he goes, I actually want you to go and enjoy your life. You're making more than enough money.
Yeah.
Stuck in my mind. Stuck in
It's
my mind
interesting.
then.
Do you know, I saw a tweet the other day, and I can't remember who it was because obviously you see a million tweets a day. They said something like, oh, "Why is it not called life-work balance? Or
Yeah,
why does it even have
exactly.
to be a balance? Why is it like have to be balance implies it has to be even,
Yep.
right? And even if it is, why is it not life work?" And
Yeah.
it kind of bugged me a bit, and I was sort of like, "Oh, yeah, it's true."
It's true. I mean, like, we need to work. I get it. But
Yeah.
if work is dictating your life, then I wouldn't push it to being called a slave, but you're almost there
Yeah.
because you're
No,
not
I get
really
it.
enjoying it, right? If you enjoy the job, but you're having a life after that, it's different. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. But if you're not enjoying it and you're constantly doing stuff, yeah, and I never wanted that from the beginning. I never ever wanted that. And one of the first business I ever created, I think I was in my early teens,
Yeah.
mid-teens. I was the only one that had a computer at that time. It was a long time ago, and I was, and I had a printer, dot matrix printer.
Nice.
I was printing out and editing CVs for people. That was my first
Okay.
thing. I put a little advert out in the Gazette, and I used to live in Chiswick in London,
Nice.
and I was getting work. That was the first thing I ever did, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool."
Yeah.
So then I started doing other things with computers. I put on parties, for instance. I did put on raves. I've been an estate agent. I've been a lettings agent. I've worked in a bank. I've done so many different things, but the tech thing has always been there since the age of like 9. My
Yeah.
father would give me pocket money. instead of buying sweets, I would go to the hardware store, buy cables and batteries to make my little car go. You know, that's where it started from, all the tech stuff.
No.
So yeah, it's been a varied life.
Once you work for yourself, I think and you start earning a bit of money for yourself, it kind
Yeah.
of it opens the mind to like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and for me now, with what I do, you know, my company was called Mac Junkie. I was doing
Yeah.
Apple stuff, and I was doing it for a long, long time. But I wanted to pivot because there were certain things I just wanted to pivot into something. Even though I loved the Apple stuff, I kind of turned into the repair guy, and I realized after 2013 you couldn't repair the newer stuff.
Yeah.
And I was stuck in the repair thing. And I was like, okay, I want to stop this. So years later, I pivoted into this whole tech minimalism thing because I was thinking, well, what can I do remotely, but still work with Mac and Apple and stuff? And so I came up with, coined the phrase tech minimalism. Obviously, it's been used before. And so that's what I do. I tell people, you know, simplify everything so you can have the time for yourself.
Yeah.
I work 3 to 4 hours a day. That's it. Because I don't want to work anymore. If it's important, I will do it, obviously.
Yeah.
And my clients contact me through Basecamp, and that's it. And it's good enough. I've had the car, I've had the house, I've had the mortgage, the wife, the kids. I don't want that anymore. I don't need it anymore. So it's just me and my dog, who's right here, by the way.
Sounds like yeah, I can see that the simplicity thing. It's funny, we were talking about, me and my wife talking earlier, but as we were moving our offices out, and she's like, oh, you know, we need more space. And I was like, no, we don't. We just need less junk.
Less stuff. Yeah. I mean, I got rid, before I moved out of the house, apartment, I got rid of a lot of stuff. And I got storage space to put the stuff that I want to keep. And there's still a lot of stuff. It's crazy the amount of stuff. I mean, when I moved into that apartment, I didn't have that much, and now I had so much stuff, and now I've got a storage space. It's jammed. I mean, mind you, most of it is tools for my cars and stuff, but it's jammed full of stuff, and it's like, do I need 3 bikes? Do I need this chest? So get rid of it.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm the same. But anyway, listen, look, I'm conscious of your time, and I don't want to be too greedy with it.
No worries.
Kay,
I can talk for hours.
No, as can I. I want to thank you so much for your time today. If anyone wants to come say hi, check out your stuff, your videos, business, wherever, where's the best place for me to signpost them to in the show notes?
2 places. My website, which is KIAKAMGAR.com.
Yeah.
Kamgar. And Twitter, which is at KIAKAMGAR. I'm always trying to figure out how to best say that because it's such a mouthful. Before it was Mac Junkie, it was easier.
It's tough, isn't it? Because you know, if you say it as a word, people like then interpret the spelling themselves.
Yeah. So yeah, but they're the 2 places I hang out on Twitter all the time, all day. See a lot of sarcastic stuff with me. And on my website, you'll see my video and what I do, and you can email me from there as well.
Okay, I will show. Yeah. I will link to that in the show notes and everything else we've talked about. Awesome. Thanks so much for your time, man.
Thanks for having me, and do this anytime.
Excellent.
See you later.